Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Wrestlemania 37 Night 1 and Night 2 stories and reactions show. I am your host, That's So Kaden. Tonight, I am joined by the man who I destroyed on Friday, and I went to Wrestlemania, unfortunately, with the
destroyed,
technician.
right? Yeah, destroyed,
David.
right?
Last
Listen, motherfucker, you came out of nowhere. Okay, how am I supposed to expect that?
You needed the executive consultant to get me off of you.
That's not the point. You came out of nowhere and attacked me. How am I supposed to be? I wasn't prepared. This is ridiculous. This is bullshit. As you know, one of my friends likes to say all the time. If you have nothing, you have nothing on me. You have nothing on me. But you know what? We're going to talk because I am a professional. I am going to set that aside, and we are going to talk about the show.
You should have been prepared for me to whoop that ass. Anyways, if you guys want to go watch that, go over to YouTube, check it out. When I put the whooping on the technician, David Sanderson.
Yeah, and you're lucky. I'm a professional, so I'm gonna put my
David. How about we do your job? How about you do your job?
I'm doing my job.
You didn't want to do it in the first place. Let's do your job. Let's talk about the show. We're gonna give our stories and our reactions. We were both at WrestleMania 37, Night 1 and Night 2. We're gonna talk about different stories during the show, how we felt about some of the matches, if there's anything that stood out to us as being not good. And we're going to talk about that rain delay on Night 1 and the rain on Night 2. It did not affect the show on Night 2, but it definitely did impact the day. So we're going to get into that. Let's go chronologically. Let's start with Night 1. So, David, Saturday, I know you went to WrestleCon. Do you have anything to talk about that? Any stories from WrestleCon on Saturday morning?
So, you know, I already talked about this on Around the Block with Mike Knox, but I will talk about this here. Chris already knows where I'm going with this. I'm going to talk about the Zack Ryder story. So, I walk up to Zack Ryder's booth, right? You know, it's nearing the end of WrestleCon, and I see, you know, he's talking to someone else. You know, I walked up there, and then somebody walked up after me, and then, you know, I was talking to him, and, you know, somebody else, not really interrupted, but, you know, he got sidetracked, and then, you know, the fan asked for a picture, and he said, yeah, and, you know, he didn't pull out his wallet or anything, or asked to charge him, so he just takes a picture, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's a free picture. So, you know, I asked the same thing. Can I get a picture? I don't ask, you know, if it's free or not. And I pull out my phone, and his manager sort of butts in the conversation, and he's like, you know, it's not free, right? And I'm like, okay. I mean, I didn't want to assume things, but then, you know, Matt kind of gave me the side eye, like, you know, and then Zach said, you know, it's not free, man. I mean, it's not free for anybody. But to me, it was kind of ridiculous that, you know, they were getting mad over this. I was like, you know, how am I supposed to know that? I don't know.
First off, David, you're at WrestleCon, so you should obviously know that it's not free. And of course, they don't want to give you anything free. If they're going to be in a picture with you, they're going to make you pay because they don't want that online.
Okay, so they're not going to charge the person in front of me, but they're going to charge me.
Yeah,
like, that makes sense, right?
They don't want online. They don't want you and them. They don't want to be associated with you. It's that easy. But anyways, you know, I did not go to WrestleCon. David forgot to tell me that he had an extra ticket to WrestleCon. It's fine. I didn't want to be with him anyways.
I didn't forget to tell you. I told you, and you asked it.
I didn't want to be in a car for an hour and a half with this guy heading into Tampa and spend all day with him. It's fine. But I went to Tampa. I went to Raymond James Stadium. If you guys saw on our UPR YouTube, you saw some videos of wrestlers entering Raymond James Stadium on Night 1 of WrestleMania around 1, 2 in the afternoon. That was taken by me. I went to the store.
Taken by you. You know, the mark that you are. You know, you wanted to show up early. You meet all the wrestlers.
No, I did not show up. I showed up early to get my merchandise, which I'm very glad I did. The merch lines were very long, unless I wanted to miss a match, which David didn't even want to miss a match to get food. So, you know, but you know, I went and got my merch. I went to the Superstore.
What's the problem with that?
It was not as good as the usual Superstores that they have at Access most years. It's a little bit limited, but it still was a very good Superstore. I got this shirt that I'm wearing right now. I got another shirt that I wore on Night 2 to WrestleMania. I got a WrestleMania pin, and I got a WrestleMania 37 face mask. So overall, it was a fairly good amount of merch that I was able to get for WrestleMania 37. I was a little disappointed they didn't have any of the shot glasses, which I like to collect everywhere I go. I mean, I don't drink.
Hold the hell
I don't drink, but I do like collecting.
You collect shot glasses.
Yeah, why not? Okay.
So,
It's a good memento.
because you heard that I wanted a shot
You
glass,
did
now
great.
all of a sudden you decided to start your own shot glass collection, right?
I
Right,
have a
that's where
few
we're going
from
with this?
places over the. It was a little gag gift that me and my friend would do with each other. Was whenever we would travel somewhere in the country, we'd get ourselves some shot glasses, and we'd give them as a little bit of a joke because we both are underage and do not drink. And ever since then, whenever I go somewhere new, I collect a shot glass. It's a small gift, very easy to have. It's pretty easy to travel with. I like that more than the big collector cups that are really hard and can scratch the paint off. Like, for example, I got the souvenir refillable cup at the stadium, and the paint was chipping off all throughout the night, and it was very disappointing.
And apparently you didn't pay attention enough, because when I asked you, do they have WrestleMania collector's cups, you said no. Yes, they did. They had them at the official merchandise stand, so you didn't bother to pay attention enough to go walk over there.
Yes, they had WrestleMania cups only at the stands. The stupid thing about this year was if you wanted the cup, you could not do the refillable soda like they usually do, or refillable drinks, whatever you wanted. It was you bought the cup and you could not drink out of it unless you put your own drink in it. Usually you can go buy it and it's refillable all throughout the night. Most stadiums do that. Raymond James did do that, but it was only with their Buccaneers or Super Bowl 55 cups, which I was a little bit disappointed in. But I did get myself a Super Bowl 55 collector's cup, which I found kind of cool. I have that one at home. Unfortunately, the paint got a little bit chipped. WTF.
Desmond, I don't know who that is.
I think I'm going to say David.
The technician David Saracen.
David, you let the jabroni beat you.
Yeah, you're right. Kaden is a jabroni, and I didn't let him beat me. He attacked me out of nowhere. I wasn't prepared. That's not my fault. So
wait. You know what? We're gonna move.
Let's just get it. Let's just dive into this night one. This opening match.
Next thing that happened. No, we're not going match by match. We're going chronologically throughout our days. The next thing we have in that night 2 was the rain delay. So we get to the stadium. David, do you want to talk a little bit about what happened at your hotel? You want to talk about that story at all?
I'm confused. What happened at the hotel? I don't. What?
Your hotel situation on Saturday at the DoubleTree.
Okay. So the DoubleTree. Oh, okay. So Chastity, what's going on? It was great meeting you yesterday, by the way. I'll get into that later. But night 1 of WrestleMania, we arrived at the hotel, me, Chris, and my friend Jay. Chris and Jay were staying at the hotel. I was not, but I was with them. And there was we got there at 12. They said we couldn't check in until 3. So we're like, okay, whatever. I've never heard of a hotel where you can't check in early, even if you just like slept the person at 5 and they'll give you a room. And when we go back at 3, they said, oh, you have to wait till 5. So at this point, the lobby's full. I had pictures. I want to put them up, but Kaden, didn't tell me we were doing the show. But you know what? It's fine. So the line's basically out the door at this point. People were complaining. The manager is freaking out. He's going off on people, and it was just an absolute nightmare. I don't really know if I want to mention this hotel by name on air.
Don't.
Don't. Okay. Yeah. No. But yeah, just beware. Hotels by the stadiums. There's one specific one. Don't go there. So yeah, that's basically it for that hotel story. And then for WrestleMania, when we arrived to WrestleMania, it was raining.
David, quickly, I'm just gonna say, if you guys are watching this, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Head over to if you're watching this on Facebook, which everybody is right now, go over to our YouTube, go like, subscribe on there as well. We're trying to get YouTube promoted a little bit more. Go check out Unpopular Review Entertainment. We have a new channel now for anything entertainment related. It's called UPRE. Go over there, go subscribe. If you guys want to see any of our entertainment stuff, we should be having a new Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode being uploaded probably tomorrow, hopefully. But that's me, hopefully. Bad Guy Jack.
Yeah, of course. It's hopefully with Kaden.
We're hoping to get that up tomorrow. And yeah, so David, why don't we talk a bit about what happened when we arrived at the stadium on Saturday?
Right. So Kaden bringing the bad luck that he did, just like he brought this pandemic, this bad luck with this pandemic upon this country last March, because he was supposed to go to WrestleMania last year. We arrive at the stadium. It's pouring rain. Kind of find out Kaden has arrived. So of course, And the rain lets up a little bit. Fans start going to their seats, and WrestleMania. The wrestlers come out in the dark. That video is up on YouTube if you want to go check it out at Unpopular Review on YouTube. They come out before the show goes on the air. The crowd gets hyped up, and as everyone knows, the lightning delay basically happened right after America the Beautiful. And yeah, it was about a 30-minute, 40-minute wait. And we come down, there's Rhea Ripley crying and Jinder Mahal right behind her. And where's Jinder Mahal been? I hope
I'm talking about Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, and Kaden, if you want to pull that picture back up real quick, I'd like to point something out. That's Mia Yim. She might be in the Retribution gear, but she's not wearing her Retribution face mask. So I think that is leading towards something in the future.
You can see back there, Slapjack actually is, which is kind of interesting.
What Slapjack is?
You can see his mask right there, behind Sheriff.
Because they haven't properly broken up the rest of Retribution yet. But I'll get to that later in tonight's Raw review, which you guys can catch each and every single Monday, 11:15 Eastern Time, with myself and Jeff Lippman. But we got back from the lightning delay. The crowd was hot. Drew McIntyre came out as it was raining. It was a pretty cool entrance. He had the sword, the flames, and Bobby Lashley comes out, and everybody in the audience decides to disrespect Bobby Lashley by not even booing him or cheering him, not even giving him a reaction, not even giving him that time of day. That's how much these fans suck when they come back to events. Maybe that's why, WWE has kept them out for so long. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so we had that rain delay, which kind of sucked after they did the whole opening intro. And, it sucks. It was about 30 minutes. We got back in our seats. We went right into Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Fantastic opener. I had Bobby Lashley winning this match. I think David might have as well. I don't remember. No, you didn't. I don't think you actually had an official pick in this match. But, Drew McIntyre got that huge pop, which was awesome. Before he did the sword, he did the 3-2-1, which he did not get to do with the Claymore. Where I think he did it in the match, but not with the Claymore. Fantastic opener. Great to see Drew get a pop. Glad that they kept the title on the almighty Bobby Smashley, as Steven likes to say, Big Daddy Cool. And very happy with what happened in this beginning.
Yeah, at least somebody respects Bobby Smashley as much as I do. I am so glad that they did not decide to throw this match away and throw this title on Drew McIntyre once again. He's a two-time WWE champion. He has nothing to prove for right now. So
I know we're not doing a full review and reaction. We're more telling stories throughout both nights. But I will say, in my opinion, and this is me being a total dirt sheet here, I think that they changed their minds probably in the last week or two about having Drew not win the belt. I think it was designed for Drew to win, and they realized that there was a lot of heat on Lashley, and a lot of people wanted him to win a lot more than they had originally thought. And they said, okay, it's probably a better idea to just keep the belt on Lashley. Or, there's the other possibility for me is that they do have a big match with Lashley. Maybe they did sign Brock for that match against Lashley, like everyone's been wanting to see for the last few years. And they said it only made sense to do that with the belt. Kind of like when they had Brock and Goldberg for 33, and it was supposed to be Jericho and Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 33 in the main event, but they last minute changed their minds because they thought it would be better to have Goldberg versus Brock for the belt. So I think it could be something similar to that, where they just last minute changed their minds. We know this WrestleMania did have a lot of last minute changes match wise, but I actually, night one, I'll talk about this as we get through the whole show. I thought this was a very, very, very solid card. Probably one of my favorite live WWE events that I've seen ever in person. Very, very solid show. I don't want to talk about the tag team turmoil match unless you want to. I didn't care much for it.
No.
Yeah, so we got Natty.
Oh, no, you know what? We actually had a moment in there that we could tell a story about. It's not really a story, but everyone saw it. Mandy Rose during her entrance, if you want to go check out that YouTube video on our Unpopular Review YouTube channel, Mandy Rose was headed out to the ring with Dana Brooke during the tag team turmoil match, and she actually slipped, fell, and bruised parts of her behind.
Yeah, if you guys want to go see that video, go check out the Unpopular Review YouTube. I have that video of Mandy Rose slipping and falling on the stage. That really sucks for her. And he saw on her, I think on her Instagram, she posted a video of Titus coming up to her afterwards and saying, "It happens to the best of us," which I found that funny. They played off it. I hope they don't do the same thing with Titus, what they did with Titus afterwards, or he kept making jokes about it for months. Let it happen. It happened. Let it go. We don't need to see that happen 80,000 times, like the Nia's whole thing. Don't overplay the moment.
Don't talk about Nia Jax on the air with me.
Okay, well, Nia's whole. So next up, the next thing I want to talk about, Cesaro Rollins was very good. Good for them. I don't think we have any really stories there. The next real stories we have, though, are and what I think of the next stories that we have, unless you have any others that you want to intervene with, was during Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, and Miz and Morrison. So if you watch this match, you know that the entrance started with a bunch of bunnies coming down to the ring, filling the ring. And during this, the executive consultant, who is known to be a big fan of The Miz, started complaining, saying this was the worst thing he's ever seen in WrestleMania history. And then he learns that it's Miz and Morrison's entrance and not Bad Bunny's, and he loses it, saying it's the best entrance in WrestleMania history. He loves it. He finds it to be the fantastic entrance, best entrance ever. And they come out to their song, Hey Hey Hop Hop. Is that what it's called?
Right, yeah. It's called Hey Hey Hop Hop. Chris claims it to be one of the greatest songs in the history of music, but I mean, it's okay at best.
Actually, I kind of find it to be kind of very catchy.
I thought it was catchy at first too, and then I actually listened to it with clear audio, and I wasn't a fan.
I like their second song about Braun Strowman. That's my favorite one that they did. I love the 80s vibes that you get from it, especially with the music video. But this one is still a good song. All three songs that they've done, I have very much enjoyed. Yeah, Mia Yim is very good. I hope that they have her go for Rhea Ripley. I think that'd be a very good match. I mean, we'll see what happens. Charlotte is also there. I mean, Becky is supposed to be returning somewhat soon. Ronda Rousey, her contract is not ended like we thought it was. It was supposed to end this past weekend on Saturday, I believe. And we're hearing from Nick Khan, president of WWE, that her contract is actually not ended, that she is going to return. They have Shayna, they have Nia. If they want to take those belts off them, they got people coming up from NXT. We have Io Shirai there as well. Asuka just lost her title. What are they going to do with her? We'll talk about this at the end about what we think is going to happen on the Raw after Mania, if we're going to see any call-ups, if we're going to see any surprise returns. We'll talk about that a little later. But in terms of what happened on WrestleMania Night 1 Saturday, getting back to the story with Bad Bunny makes his awesome entrance. Damian Priest got his entrance, which I'm very happy about. And then Bad Bunny got his entrance too. And Bad Bunny came in on that truck, which I'm pretty sure was the same entrance that was supposed to be for Becky. And this was awesome. Bad Bunny absolutely, and we'll talk about the match too. Actually, I'll talk about the match right now. Bad Bunny killed it. Everything he did on Saturday night was spectacular. The entrance was awesome. His wrestling was awesome. His selling was very solid. He did every single thing correct. Yes, there were a few botches. I went back and watched the match today. He did a little bit of a botch on the snapmare, and the Canadian Destroyer was not fantastic, but you should not expect him to have a fantastic Canadian Destroyer when he's been training for 2 to 3 months. He did every single thing like a celebrity should. He was on par with Pat McAfee's match at TakeOver 30 last August. That is what I compare it to most in terms of great celebrity performances. He killed it. Good for him for promoting his tour on night 2. But I mean, David, let's get your quick thoughts on this match and on Bad Bunny in general. We'll talk about our story from that night.
So this match, I think, to me, was match of the night, besides the main event, of course, being Bianca versus Sasha. But Bad Bunny did a lot better than I think, not just me, but most fans in attendance thought he would do. He did a Canadian Destroyer, or some people call it the Puerto Rican Destroyer. I think it's a pretty clever name. On to John Morrison, and that garnered the pop of the night in terms of matches wise. Of course, besides
I'm gonna disagree that it was not the pop of the night matches wise, because everybody went quiet because everyone was shocked. Like, you can hear it when you go and watch it.
Reaction of the night. That's what I like.
There was I mean, we'll talk about the main event and what I thought was the pop of the night, but No one said a single thing. There was no pop from the audience because nobody knew what they had just witnessed. A celebrity hitting a Canadian destroyer. Bad Bunny, who everybody had looked down for the last few months, hit a Canadian destroyer.
Silence the haters.
He killed it. And everybody was so surprised that there was not a single word out of anybody in that arena. Everybody went silent in awe of what Bad Bunny had done to The Miz and John Morrison at WrestleMania Night 1. David, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we got to keep this a little shorter tonight because we're going very long already. Chris, the executive consultant, was not happy when Bad Bunny won this match. We were rocking, me, you, your friend Jay, some of the girls that we were around. We were all jamming to Bad Bunny after he won with Booker T playing in the background. I loved it. It was the best moment of the night. Best moment of WrestleMania weekend, in my opinion, was the Bad Bunny match. The vibe it had afterwards, dancing to Booker T. I loved it. So, yeah, I mean, the last thing we're going to get into for night 1 is the main event of the evening, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. Bianca Belair winning, and this was awesome. The crowd popped very hard for her winning. It was a great moment. She had a long time out there. I know it cut off fairly quickly, but she did spend a long time in the ring. She prayed afterwards as well. And her husband, that's almost. I thought that was the picture of.
Oh my god!
I didn't look at it close enough.
It's so racist.
It looked no. I'm not even kidding. I thought that was Bianca Belair on the shoulders. I didn't look close enough. That's my bad. I did not. I saw someone on shoulders, and I thought that was. Because I missed that match. I thought that was Bianca and Montez. I did not look close enough. That's my bad. I don't have a picture of that, unfortunately, but I do have a video on it. If you guys want to go to the Unpopular Review YouTube, go check that out. There's a video that we have posted of Montez Ford coming down to the ring post-match to celebrate with his wife, Bianca Belair, as she had won the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was an incredible moment. They gave her a lot more time than they gave Rhea Ripley on night 2. I like that they gave her this much time. Sorry, I love that they gave her this much time. Great way to go on night 1. Send us home very happy. It makes sense that they put this where it did, considering that Drew did not win his title back. I thought if they had done that match as the main event instead of this match, it would have been a big mistake to not send the fans home happy. I think fans would have actually pissed off. So, fantastic. David, what do you think about this ending of WrestleMania Night 1?
I thought it was the absolute storybook fairy tale ending for Bianca Belair. You know, she won the Royal Rumble, and actually one of the few people to win the Royal Rumble and actually go on to WrestleMania to win the championship match of their choosing. I thought her and Bianca threw it down in the main event. And one spot I would like to talk about in this main event was the hair whip.
Yes.
Oh my God. If it sounded loud on TV, it sounded just as loud right across the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I have no words. I have no words for this. It just sounded like Sasha just got her ass beat and
yeah, it was fantastic. I'm also going to bring up that Montez coming down to the ring was also a little reference to WrestleMania 36, where she made her debut, and she saved Montez from Zelina Vega. So that was a really cool callback that this time he gets to go down and celebrate with her. That when they retained their titles and she celebrated with him, he got to go down and celebrate with her. I thought it would be a really cool moment. I'm actually very glad they did that off TV to give something to the fans. I don't think she knew about that, because if you watch her reaction, she looked shocked when he slid into the ring. So I don't think she was ready for that, which if it was not planned and she did not know about it, and that Vince and Hunter and them let him go do that, that's awesome. That's a really cool moment. But let's move into night 2. Talking about night 2 quickly. Written on the graphic, of course, you can see Roman Reigns, Dana Bryan, Edge in the main event of night 2. Fantastic main event, but night 2 did not live up to night 1's expectations, in my opinion. David, you have some stories from before the show started. Why don't you give them? You ref matches in the crowd.
So so for these matches, okay. So I have a little bit of a story for this. So me and Chris had arrived at WrestleMania, right, for night 2, and we were walking around. We were looking for Chastity, actually, who is in the comments just now. Chastity Bernardi. And we were walking around, and I see the WrestleMania pre-show move. So I'm like, hey, let's go walk up there. And as soon as I walk up, people start turning around and go in like crazy. They're like, oh, we got a ref. And then, I slowly walk up, to the person that is like going, crazy. And, I hear more and more fans start cheering. And I get up there and, they're saying, they need a ref. So I'm like, okay. And, it's for the 24/7 championship. I count 1, 2, 3. The crowd is counting along with me. That's always been one of my mini dreams of mine. So that was nice. And then right after that, Chris came out of nowhere and suplexed some random kid, or not really kid, but some random adult. And, I counted to get, once again, crowds with me counting. And yeah, just a great WrestleMania moment. I wish I would have caught it on tape. But I saw after the first match, I looked over at the pre-show booth and Booker T was smiling at me. And yeah, just a great little WrestleMania moment for me.
Evil Dose, that question for you. We'll talk about this at the end of the night as we go off, as a happy way to go off. That is it true if someone recognized you from Unpopular Review? We'll talk about it a little later. Stay tuned for that, guys. But night 2 did not have a rain delay like we thought it would. It rained all day.
It rained the entire day,
yeah.
And that right at 7:00.
Yeah, it was like it was meant to be. It was fantastic. The sky started clearing up a little bit. We had a little bit of a sprinkle around the end of the first match, I believe, and then it went away after like 2 minutes, and it was gone.
Yeah, I was actually getting scared. I put my poncho on and everything.
Yeah, but let's talk about this first match because I hated this. I thought this was actually the worst match of WrestleMania weekend. It was not good.
I was pissed.
Gordon.
I was so mad about this match.
First off, the Fiend's entrance took it was almost 6 minutes, I believe. The entrances itself were I think the Fiend's entrance itself was like 5 minutes.
No, because Alexa came out. So
because Alexa did hers, and then we had the Fiend coming out of the jackal or whatever it's called, the Jack in a Box. This was stupid. They started the show off with the worst match they could have started the show off. It should have been probably Sami and Kevin or Riddle Sheamus. I think Sami and Kevin probably would have been the better match to start off the show with because it was actually fairly hot. But this made no sense starting the show. Its finish was absolutely terrible. The match itself was horrible. They brought the red lighting back, which nobody wanted to see back.
I'm gonna go on a mini rant. So I'm sorry to stop on you for this one, Kaden, but
yeah, take it.
6 months you took to build this story, WWE.
Yeah,
6 months, and what do? You have Randy Orton RKO the Fiend
once.
1, 2, 3.
One RKO.
Once. The match ended in 2 minutes, right?
You're telling me that the Fiend can be burned alive and come back to life, but one RKO puts him to sleep. He can survive 3 curb stomps and a hammer to the head and be fine, but one RKO it makes no sense. This makes no sense with how they booked the Fiend over the last 2 years. Since the Fiend became a thing almost 2 years ago, I think actually it was exactly 2 years ago when they started the Fiend vignettes. This made no sense. It was horrible booking. The Fiend, I think it's safe to say the Fiend is buried. I don't like to throw out buried lightly, but they have buried him at this point. He is not what he was. You cannot say after this match that he is not a ruined character by WWE.
He was already ruined. Hell in a Cell ruined him.
He was already ruined by Hell in a Cell, but it was possible to fix that, right? I think they actually did a very good job of course correcting with yes, he lost to Goldberg, and that was bad. But the John Cena segment last year, WrestleMania Night 2, saved it. I thought that brought him back to where he was. He did not have the best work over the summer, but it was okay. He won the Universal Championship, and he did lose it the next week at, I think it was it Payback? Was that what it's called? The week after SummerSlam, it goes Payback, where he lost it to Roman, but he did not take the pin. So he was still at least a little bit protected. I defended this storyline. I did not hate it. I thought it was okay.
Bray Wyatt or Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton?
The Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton story, I did not hate. But it only I did not like the return a month ago, but it only made sense if Bray won. Bray did not win. This was stupid. The booking made no sense. The match was terrible. This thing with Alexa with the bloody face was stupid.
I think the bloody face thing was interesting. I think it was kind of cool, honestly.
It was cool, but it was stupid. It made no sense. And you're gonna.
But
I
it caused
know.
defeat in the match, which makes me a little bit spectacle.
No, I don't.
What's gonna happen?
I don't want to speculate about what happened because it made no sense. Why would this makes no sense? I know people are gonna say let the storyline play out, like you guys have been saying for months about the storyline, which is what I was saying. I was saying, you know what? I don't love the storyline, but let's let it play out. It made no sense. Alexa threw fireballs in Randy's face. Why is she helping Randy win? Alexa brought him back from the dead. Why is she helping Randy win? There is no need for a betrayal. The betrayal made no sense. The betrayal does not need to happen.
So I don't understand how it was a
It's like
betrayal.
the Sasha Bailey betrayal that we wanted to happen 4 years that we never got. When we did not want a betrayal here. No one wanted the betrayal. Everybody wanted the Fiend to win this match. And they didn't want to do that because they wanted an RKO. When the RKO could have still happened in this match and it could have got at 1 or 2.
But I still don't understand how this is a betrayal or what Alexa was trying to accomplish. I was so confused. I still am confused.
I understand. Like I know Chris after this match said you were supposed to be confused. I don't want to be confused at WrestleMania. I want if it's if this is the middle of the match, right? Middle of the card, okay, confuse me all you want. But you've been setting this match up a certain way where you should not be confusing me at WrestleMania. This was the ending to a match at Fastlane a month ago to lead to the grudge match. You do not do this type of finish at WrestleMania. This is not a WrestleMania finish. People are going to defend it, saying that this is an intriguing storyline. This was stupid. It made no sense. This was a dumb segment, a dumb match, a dumb finish. I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on to something else. Let's see if anything else to say about this.
Yeah, this next match does not get better. We had the women's tag team championship match, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kaden. Between the horrible, reckless, worst women's wrestler of all time.
We're not talking about the match. We're not going to talk about the match. I don't want to talk about this match.
Well, unfortunately, Nia and Shayna had to retain for whatever reason.
Yeah, we're going to talk about like highlights, any interesting stories. Yeah, Jeff's saying it's too complex for a wrestling story, not a very good story either. Exactly. This was a movie. Cool. Give me a very, very complex, intriguing story, but it's not. This is wrestling. This is not the place for this. I love long-term storytelling. But if you wanted to do this story, you should have started it in the summer. Then that makes sense on where you have it, and you have the finish be WrestleMania. The finish of this type of story is not meant for SummerSlam. This was a match for like Royal Rumble. Like this could happen at Royal Rumble. I actually wouldn't have had a problem with it. It makes sense for a match like this to happen then because it's a big match, but you have a screwy finish. The end of the story is supposed to be at WrestleMania. That's when you're supposed to end the big stories, not continue them after. They're supposed to end at WrestleMania. That's where I have the issue with this. Yeah. I love storytelling, but this was not the place to have this type of ending.
Right.
I mean, there's not. Night 2 does not have as many good stories as Night 1. Night 1 had an amazing story of Chris. If you want to tell any stories about, I don't know if you want to talk about the situation with Jay, any of those stories. But we got some really cool stories about that too.
Yeah,
if you want to give any.
Yeah, I mean that's the situation. I mean, it's not that interesting of a story, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can talk about how he almost got kicked out.
Yeah.
So our friend Jay, let's say
your friend. No, don't throw me into this. This is your and Chris's roommate. Do not throw me into this. Our friend
Jay. Listen, don't disrespect Jay like that.
No, I'm not disrespecting him. I've never met him until WrestleMania. So don't.
Okay, so my friend Jay. Okay, my friend Jay apparently. My roommate. So. He's a ladies guy. So we're at WrestleMania, right? And he leaves out of nowhere. And he comes back with 2 girls, and he breaks and moves 2 cardboard or plastic, whatever faces, and they sit there. And
Chris is saying to stop. Okay, never mind. We're not giving the story.
Okay. We're not giving the story.
I mean. We're supposed to be telling stories, but I guess we're not supposed to tell any stories. David, do you have any more? Are there any more interesting stories before we kind of talk a little bit about the rest of Night 2? I guess there's some good Chris stories with Oscar, Rhea Ripley in the main event.
I mean, Chris just hated on Rhea Ripley as usual. Being disrespectful to Rhea Ripley. One of the future greats of all time.
Yeah.
But besides that, Kaden, you can carry on. We have, we still have about 8 minutes until the start of the Raw after WrestleMania. But
Yeah, I'll just give some quick thoughts here about the rest of this. It was awesome to see Logan Paul get stunned. I don't know how well it picked up on camera in terms of booing. Hulk Hogan got booed a ton.
So did Logan Paul as well.
Yeah, Logan Paul, I was going to say, Logan Paul got booed out of the building as well. They had probably the biggest boos of the night. The Bellas did also get booed. People were not happy to see the Bellas kick Bailey. I don't know if it was because the Bellas. I don't know if because people don't want to see the Bellas or because they didn't want to see the Bellas kick Bailey, because Bailey has gained a very massive cult following over the last year or so. I don't know which is the. I think probably both had a play in that situation. But it seemed like WWE were used to the Thunderdome, where they can control their narrative, control the fan reaction, all of that. This was their first time being in front of a live crowd, not including NXT and the people that were at the Performance Center months ago, or about half a year ago, that were kind of controlled fans too. Back in front of a live crowd since March of 2020, right?
Yeah.
They expected their fan reactions to be a certain way. I don't know if they expected Logan Paul to get booed and they called the stunner on the spot. I don't know. But they expected Hulk to get cheered. Didn't happen. They expected the Bellas to get cheered. Didn't happen. I don't know the Logan Paul situation though. But regardless of the fact, Logan Paul got booed a ton. And it did seem like they were trying to make him a little bit of a. I don't know. I am intrigued though. And David, I don't know your opinion on this. If they expected Logan to get cheered, and he got booed, and Vince called last minute that Logan was going to take a stunner, that's awesome. That's really cool. I don't think that's what happened, but it is very possible that they did not think Logan would get booed the way he did, and they said last minute, let's have him get stunned.
It's very possible, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if Logan trained at all, to take a stunner. And yeah, I mean, it could have been called on the fly, and Logan was like, okay, maybe I've seen one of these before, and then just did that. But yeah, Logan Paul was very heavily booed. Hulk Hogan's boos were pretty heavily edited out during WrestleMania, night one of WrestleMania, as me and Chris were watching it back right before we had to do something else. Jeff, I don't know why. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So David mentioned this a little earlier during the Rhea Ripley Asuka match. Chris got it very heated, going after Rhea Ripley because she called him a peasant. I don't disagree with her. I'm gonna get so much heat for saying that now. But I mean, congrats to Rhea Ripley.
Kaden, prepare to be fired.
Yeah. Congrats to Rhea Ripley. I had Asuka winning the match and Becky Lynch returning because Becky relinquished the title to Asuka. I thought it would have made sense. I think Becky is going to return tonight. Hopefully. I just want Becky back. I love Becky. Y'all know I talked about how much I love her multiple times. She's my favorite. I cannot wait for her to be back. I hope she's back tonight. But, I mean, Asuka, unfortunately, was not doing it. I wish they would have given her a little bit of a better title run. They did not put importance on her. They put importance on the tag titles instead of her title, which I felt to be a little disappointing. Same thing happened. These last few months, they put more importance on the women's tag titles than they were on the singles belts. But at the same time, they were not putting importance on the women's tag titles because they were just doing it to get over the feuds going on for the women's belts. The women's story, but the women's booking has been really bad the last few months. That's all I'm going to say. The women's division has not been booked well on the main roster, Raw and SmackDown, over the last few months, in my opinion. But hopefully they, of course, corrected with Rhea Ripley here. It was cool to see. The crowd lost it for her. They booked her as a heel for this match, and the crowd lost it to see her win. I did not expect that big of a pop for her. So congrats to her for getting that belt. Chris, I'm sorry. She's the champ. You got to deal with it now. But let's get into the main event.
Right. So
the crowd don't know if they were enjoying this. I don't think they like.
You don't know. The crowd went absolutely nuts for this main event. I mean,
yes, the main event. Yeah,
you had boos, you had yays, you had yeses.
I don't know if the crowd enjoyed Roman winning.
Oh no, I sure as hell didn't. I don't think it was like an abrupt ending too.
Yeah. So I know we gotta go. We might miss the first minute or two of Raw because Steven wants us to talk about this for a minute. He wants to talk about did WWE make an oopsies here with Edge not winning the match? I agree. I think yes. I think this was people on Twitter this morning and last night were talking about how this was terrible, that Edge did not win, and how it was very bad booking, and it might have gotten a lot more heat on Roman than they want. Like, they wanted to heel heat on Roman, but it seems like they might have gotten back to the issue where
Roman Reigns is constantly getting booed.
Where Roman Reigns, he is a heel. He's supposed to get booed, but they might have gotten him into Baron Corbin post WrestleMania 35 territory where he had that go away heat. That's what I'm afraid of with Roman here. People were happy with what he did, but unfortunately, I lost my train of thought for a second. But unfortunately, they might have gotten back into that go away heat territory, which he had a few years ago. What we're going to talk about here, did they ruin Edge's return? I believe so. Yes. Edge's return happened at a perfect time. Yes, the 2020 Royal Rumble. Here's the issue. He went into the pandemic, which sucked. Absolutely was terrible. I understand why they wanted to go through with Edge and Orton and not have to make that change. They should have postponed that match until they had fans. That match was, in my opinion, the worst match of WrestleMania weekend last year. Edge and Orton. Yeah. I hated that match. I thought it was 37 minutes of boring. It was just not my thing. I mean, some people, I understand if it is your thing, not my thing, that match. They should have delayed it. Then they went with the rematch, which they overhyped as the greatest match of all. What did they call it? The greatest match ever, which it was not. And then Edge tore his tricep in that match as well. Not even during the match, during reshoots of the match. And then they had him win the Royal Rumble just to have him go into a triple threat match. No one wanted Daniel. Daniel Bryan had one of the weakest yes chants I've ever heard of during his entrance. It was during the match, he had a much louder yes chant during the yes kicks than he had during his entrance when he did the yeses. It was a fairly weak yes, in my opinion, during his entrance because people did not want to see that. They wanted Edge and Roman in a one-on-one. And then they had Edge lose. This match was awesome. Roman looked awesome winning. But Edge should have won this match. There was no reason for Edge to have come back the way he did, to win the Royal Rumble, to make his return. This was the 10-year anniversary of when he had to retire, and you don't have him go over. Edge had the loudest pop of night 2 when he entered, with his first non-surprise entrance in front of an audience. In front of a big pay-per-view audience, for a singles match. This was his first singles match in front of a crowd, and everybody loved it. They should have gone with Edge in this finish.
You know what, Kate, I know we have to wrap things up here in a sec, but you bring up a really good point. I really didn't think Edge needed to win. I wanted Daniel Bryan to win. Sort of as the surprise underdog, But yeah, you actually have a very compelling point. Edge, how much of a story would it have been for Edge to win the Universal Championship on the 10-year anniversary that he had to retire?
Yeah,
that would the way that coincides.
Yeah,
is never gonna happen again. You had such a big chance, and WWE missed the mark.
Yeah.
But I understand why sort of they did it, because they want to establish Roman as a top heel, the top guy. But I feel like they also missed a chance. But they're also going to have a great feud with Edge and Daniel Bryan in the future. And, we're starting off Raw. Bobby Lashley basically having a sort of fame gimmick and, Riddle's doing circles around him.
Well, so, I mean, we're going to wrap this up in just a second, but I believe, yes, they did ruin Edge's return. David, what's your verdict? Did they ruin Edge's return?
No. Edge and Daniel Bryan is going to be the next feud. And it's going to be.
I understand that people don't think they did. I think he's going to be gone for a while. I think he's going back to being a part-timer right now. I don't think he's going to wrestle for probably until SummerSlam, in my opinion. We're going to wrap this up in just a moment. real quickly, guys, make sure you guys check out the new Raw crew. Let's show the promo.
Welcome, everyone, to the Unpopular Review Raw new A-Team A-Show co-host with the most. Yes, the new UPR lineup starts next week, and I am joining the technician, David Sanderson, on Raw. Evil Dose is the new dealer, the new babysitter in charge. David, how you feeling about that? You feeling good about that?
Okay, listen, first of all, you're not my dealer, okay? You're not my babysitter, but I know one thing stays the same, and that is that the technician is here to stay on the A show, Monday Night Raw. Jeff, I know we've had our differences in the past. I am looking very much forward to working with you, and yeah, I think we're gonna make an excellent team. But
just because you don't pay your tab timely doesn't mean I'm not your dealer.
Oh, please. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw review every single Monday, 11:15 Eastern. Be there.
A show.
On the Monday Night Raw review, you can also find the UPR top 5 wrestlers of the week. I believe, David, are you guys this week going to do a top 5 men's and top 5 women's to add, since there was 4 nights of pay-per-views?
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. You know, I'm going to have a good top 5 for this week. But, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is time to wrap up the show, as the Raw after WrestleMania is getting underway, and it looks like we already have a match that may be announced for this evening is Riddle versus Lashley for the WWE Championship. We'll get into that later on. Yeah. Please make sure to catch us on Raw Review. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful night.